What's up, everybody? Ty Bartellin with another edition of Player Profile. This time we're in with the second baseman for the Austintown Fitch Falcons, Sam Severn, joining me today. Sam, how are we doing?
I'm good. Doing great.
I want to talk about what you're doing right now to try to stay ready after Mother Nature kind of canceled plans on what you guys are going to be doing today.
Yeah, so we got our lift in today and we plan on going to hit later inside. So hopefully we'll get our work in for the day.
I want to talk about you going into this season too. A little bit different mentality shift. You were going to be told you're the everyday second baseman now for the Falcons. What was that like for you, knowing you were going to be a defensive position too now every day? And what's that shift been like for you?
I definitely was excited finding the news out that I was supposed to play second base this year. I was definitely mentally prepared last year, knowing we had a very good senior, Caitlin Mitchell, leaving us. So she also taught me a lot of things to mentally prepare myself for this season. I also put in a lot of work preseason too, knowing that there's a chance of me going there. So just put a lot of work in.
You got a very important spot in the lineup too, and I think you really do bring that bottom third of the lineup. You bring a lot of pop to, and you bring a lot of danger to that bottom spot. And really, what makes this lineup dangerous, top to bottom. When you talk about setting the standard and setting the tone there at that bridge spot of the lineup too, what's that like for you? What is kind of your mission, your goals going to the plate each and every time?
A lot of the time I'd be hopefully not starting an inning, but sometimes I will be. So my goal is normally just to put the ball in play in hopes that I can move a runner or even get myself on, maybe put a bunt down so that we can score that extra run that we might need. So my position really is just knowing that I have to be there for my teammates to get them around the bases more so.
Is there competitiveness with this team having so many talented hitters, so many college level players on this squad?
Um, there definitely is competition for sure. I think our coaches do a really good job of subbing players and giving them opportunities at the plate, depending on the games and the situations. I just know it's a lot. It's hard to mentally prepare yourself, not knowing whether or not you're going to come into a game. But we. I think we get it in very well. The competition is there.
You got the unique experience of hoisting a state championship trophy last year, and not many girls get the opportunity to do that in the sport of softball. What was that run like for you? What was that experience like for you and playing in the state championship game and being able to be on the winning team?
Yeah, it was very nerve wracking at first. I know I had a lot of game day jitters walking in there, but I was the bus. I was sitting there silent, was trying to hype myself up, but I was really nervous. Knowing that I'm on the winning side it's definitely an amazing achievement. I give a lot of credit to all the other teams we've played, getting us better, and my teammates for keeping our heads up even when we might be down. For example, in the state game, we were down in the first couple innings by one, but we kept our heads up, and I've learned that anything can happen as long as you have the right mentality.
Was it a surreal feeling walking out of Firestone and seeing the thousands of Fitch fans that were there in support for you guys?
Absolutely. I mean, there was teachers, neighbors, family. It was a lot. It was amazing. It was a great experience.
Having that experience too, it gave you the experience to try to settle in the biggest game you can play at the high school level. How did you settle into that game too and get you guys to go back into your groove and doing your thing?
Yeah. Well, I rode down the bus. I had my earbuds in. I was trying to get locked in. I know everybody else was trying to get all hyped up with the music and stuff. Our coaches definitely were very encouraging, and they weren't reluctant to give us the news about what might happen, what might happen. They just had confidence in us, so it was really nice.
Going into an upperclassman season now, you're going to be relied upon a little bit more as one of the leaders too. Obviously, you'll go into senior year next year, but talk about just taking on a little bit more of a leadership role and being one of the players that a lot of these younger ones are going to start looking up to, asking questions.
Yeah, that's definitely my goal. I want to try to make sure that the players are comfortable asking me questions now that I am an upperclassman. I've had experience, especially going on the long run. I want to be able for them to know that they can ask me anything and that any questions they have can come right to me.
Talk about experiencing a setback this season. You guys experience your first defeat in a couple of seasons too to Canfield. You bounce right back against Warren Harding with an emphatic win. Talk about the bounce back too, and do you find value in experiencing an early season loss for this team?
Yeah, I definitely find value in the loss. I think that for the sake of our mentalities, it was almost needed so that we realize that anything can happen. We have to make sure we have our best abilities going forward with us now. That we can't take anyone lightly. That's a big idea now too. Um, Canfield had very good contact, so we just have to make sure that personally, I have to make sure that I'm moving faster on the field, trying to get to those like over second baseballs type things.
How is it trying to stay locked in behind Sid? Because I mean, we know how she can get on a roll and it feels like she's just striking out everybody. How is it trying to stay locked in and still stay ready for any ball coming your way when maybe there's a whole game or a couple games that none do?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of hard sometimes when you're getting so hyped for Sid because she's going strikeout after strikeout. But we've just learned from past, present, like especially the Canfield game, we've learned that we can't just rely on Sid. So we have to make sure that we're ready for any ball to come our way.
I know you're a multiple sport athlete, but where did the love for the sport of softball begin? What are some of your earliest memories, I guess, first and foremost?
I would say T-ball maybe, T-ball coach pitch when I was like, I don't know, 5 maybe. I remember going to the field for the first time and just swing the bat, and I think it clicked. I knew a lot of people. My cousin played softball. My cousin played baseball too, and I just knew a lot of people, and it was like an inspiration type thing.
So real young, then you
Yeah,
started.
real young.
You got your roots in it. What was it
Real.
that kind of made you love it and just keep with it throughout all these years into the high school realm?
Well, I played with a lot of girls. I played with Ayla Ray since I was very young. We played travel together at the 10U level, went to nationals. Same thing with Sid, Kylie. We've all played together for a very long time. So it was very encouraging to have people that you know and love to keep going with you all the way through the high school level.
What are some of your personal goals now that you're looking to achieve both this season and in your senior campaign?
I'm definitely trying to keep up my batting average this season. I want to make sure my teammates can rely on me to get the hit anytime we need a hit. I'm also trying to be more of a leader, like we talked about before. I definitely want to make sure that my teammates recognize that I'm there for them and that they can ask me anything.
What are the biggest things for you in a leader too that makes you kind of drawn to leadership styles, I guess? What are some leadership styles that you're kind of drawn to?
I think I'm very, people are very comfortable around me. I think that they feel like they can tell me a lot of things. I also feel like I have a strong voice, like during practice, making sure everybody's focused in, things like that.
When you talk about being versatile with multiple personalities and still being able to be that kind of voice of reason, that voice that everyone's kind of coming to, what's that like for you balancing out different personalities and no, maybe not every player needs the same thing and not every player needs the same advice?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult knowing like there's days where I have to make sure everybody's focused in, myself included. It's hard because sometimes obviously I'm trying to fit in with everybody goofing around, stuff like that. But I just also have to make sure that we're locked in and we got to get what we got to done for the practice or the lift even. And then other times I like just goofing off with my friends and making sure that they like like we all get along.
It's part of the character of this team
Yeah.
is, I mean, you have to goof off. Talking about this season, though, it's a different mentality, I feel like, for a lot of the players because you guys went for so long being one of the hunters for that state championship. Now you're the hunted. You're the defending state champions. You know you want to get back to that level. What's that mentality like going into this season? Is there added pressure seeing yourself ranked on so many different polls too? How do you deal with it, and how do you guys still perform like you've been?
Yeah, so our coaches definitely discussed how big of a target we'll have on our back now, especially because we had targets on other high-ranked teams' backs, like we did, who we ended up playing in the state championship. I know that we definitely are going to have to keep the mindset forward to make sure we get back there. Hopefully, that's definitely our biggest goal is to hopefully have a two-peat, and I definitely think that we are capable of doing that.
It's the players that set the standard. Coaches will preach it. They want the standard to be this. They'll lay out the groundwork, the foundation, but it's up to the players to build it. What are you doing as a personal player that's trying to build this standard, a new standard, continuously raising the standard that Fitch is trying to do?
I'm definitely putting my work in. I'm making sure that I'm not losing anything that I had last year. I'm trying to stay consistent with my at bats, making sure even I get more balls in play than I did last year. I know everybody is that's their goal is to get those base hits this year, the ones that'll send those runs home, hopefully on the ground, line drive, stuff like that.
You talk about women's sports at Fitch with volleyball, with basketball getting back in I guess a renaissance season, and of course softball. Do you kind of walk around with your head held a little high because you play for such a good, I guess, good school for girls sports in Fitch?
Yeah, I definitely love Fitch's girls athletic program. I feel that we get a lot of recognition compared to some other schools might. Our teachers are very supportive in those acts as well. They'll consistently ask, "How'd your game go last night?" Like I know you guys, you both play, like, the boys and the girls. I definitely have classmates that consistently come to watch our games and they come to support us. So it's
You
nice.
have fans all throughout YSN as well. As we were talking, I was talking with Anthony earlier. There's no matter what game we're doing, everyone's asking what the score of Fitch is. They all want to know what you ladies are up to too. You got fans all over the area. What's your? We're gonna go a little bit on the personal route now. What's the favorite dugout snack?
Oh, I'll go for any candy. M&Ms, some nerd clusters are a big one. Fruit's good too.
Which does Coach Bob, has he incorporated any of those into his treats that he gives out to the players?
Yeah, just a bit. Those Skittles, the Skittles getting on first base, they'll make their way around the dugout sometimes.
What's the walk up song and why'd you choose it?
My walk-up song this year is "Meltdown," so the tea time part. I chose it. I personally didn't choose it. I had to have Kylie help me. Kylie Polkwine definitely helped me out with that one. I'm not the biggest, musically inclined person, so I I asked him who I knew best, and that was Kylie. I knew she had some good walk-up ideas.
When you talk about any superstitions in the sport, do you have any, and what are they?
I definitely make sure I always have my necklace on. That's a big thing. I make sure, like, feel good, play good. um, I also like try pregame, make sure I eat something before every single game, even whether it's heavy or light. I'm a big eater, so
Person over player is a big mentality with Fitch too. We talked a lot about you, the player. What have you learned about yourself as a person going through this high school experience from freshman year to now?
I've learned that I am definitely a very anxious person, and I've learned that a lot of people will rely on me to help them out with things too. So I'm glad that I feel that people I'm comfortable around people, and that's yeah, anxious and relied on.
Being an anxious person too, and playing sports, it could kind of have its combats. How do you continuously find your confidence too throughout the sport?
I definitely find my confidence in my family members, my coaches, my teammates. They're very supportive. They always make me on a bad day. They're very, very nice and will help pick me up even if I try to deny their help. And it's just I'm really appreciative that they always have my back.
Sticking with the person over player mentality too, you are outside of softball someone else, obviously. So what are some hobbies you like to do that aren't softball or basketball, I guess, related?
Yeah, I like swimming. I like, going shopping, hang out with friends a lot of the time. It's a lot of my summer. But
What I want to give you the chance to also shout out your support system, the people that have been there for you throughout this softball journey.
yeah, my parents, my grandma, my siblings, my friends, all my friends, teammates and non-teammates, other season coaches, Coach Rochek's always asking how our games go, and so is Coach Defran. A lot of them they're very, wondering how we did. Um, Teachers, yeah, a lot of them are very supportive.
Final question for you. What's some advice you give to a younger softball player that's maybe debating on sticking it out?
I've been there before, and I've learned that stick it out because you'll end up going somewhere that you'll never think you have. Like for us, it was I never thought, but we ended up going to state and winning it. So just stick it out, fight through it, and you never know where you're gonna go.
Sam, I'm a big fan of how you've progressed as a player, as a leader, and I'm looking forward to what you're going to continue to do for the teams that you're on here at Austintown Fitch.
Thank you.
This has been another edition of Player Profile with the Falcon Junior starting second baseman, Sam Severn.